Welcome, welcome, welcome. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at a very interesting little knife. The MAM Hobo knife. M-A-M, made in Portugal. Very much similar to an Opinel. And this little guy is quite interesting. I do think I want to, for the video, take this off for video purposes. Comes with a little bottle cap lifter with the MAM logo embossed in there. Please show up. There we go. This is a very interesting little knife. Very tiny. This fork, believe me, is very small. But it is big enough, I think, to stab a piece of steak and eat it. But it's not a scooping fork. It's going to be a stab your food and it's safe to put in your mouth kind of fork. It's definitely not something that you'd be scooping a plate of beans with. You'd probably ought to carve a spoon or get a spoon for that. But that fork, it's tiny, but it's usable. I don't really have a complaint with it. The knife is actually pretty good, actually. I said actually twice. Let's see how it does with some paper here. Out of box, not too shabby. Yes, I eat it. Yes, I collect chopsticks whenever I can. But this is a very nice looking little knife. This is inox. This is a more stainless option here. I do think they might make a carbon version of that. I am not sure. But these are both small town made in Europe. Opinel, as most people probably know, is made in Savoy, France. Still owned by the people that started it way back in the 1800s. Great little knife company there. MAM is made in Portugal, and it's been going since 1870, and I have a feeling one of them got started from the other, because the designs are very similar. If you look at the MAM collection of knives, they're very similar to Opinel, and they also have a kind of liner lock inside, which is very interesting. But we're talking about this knife here. We're reviewing the Hobo edition here. Spain's version of a hobo knife is a little different than ours, but close enough that I think they're on the right track. The knife is definitely big enough to cut some food, work some stuff. The fork would definitely be a hot spot if he was using this under heavy conditions, but as small as this knife is, this is an Opinel number 6. Just for size comparison here, this would be like an Opinel number 5 or something, comparably. So, definitely not a heavy use knife, but for food prep, a very, very usable knife. I like the knife. This one does not lock, but the joint is stiff, and that could take a little getting used to. Those seem to be riveted, not screwed. That's fine. No problems with that. Got a nice little lanyard clip here. Great little thing to go on. The fork metal is strong enough for food for sure, but you can bend it. I don't want to bend it too much, but I can, without a lot of stress, bend the steel of the fork. So keep that in mind. But you're eating food. You're not going through granite. You're stabbing a piece of meat or a potato in your soup or something. But like I said, this is definitely not a scoop fork that you would pile food on and dump in your mouth. This is more, you cut your food into little bits and then you stab it and then you pop it in your mouth. So definitely not a very usable hobo fork as compared to an American hobo knife where the pieces are a lot bigger. But I do think that as a travel utensil or camping utensil for your canned foods, I do think that this is quite a nice option. I kind of wish that this was more of a can opener instead of a bottle cap lifter, because a can opener can open bottles, but a bottle cap lifter doesn't exactly open cans. I've tried. But for $13, is this a bad buy? I don't really think so. I think that's actually a good little gift. Christmas is coming up real soon. I think this would be a great little stocking stuffer. I got this off of eBay really cheap for $13. I think that's about the price it would go for on the MAM's actual website. But, you know, if you're going for a kind of a historical collection for gifts this year, I think Opinel and MAM should be options you should consider. I want to get my hands on the Opinel number 8 Picnic Edition, where you have the spoon and the fork that you can slip into the blade while it's closed. Very good options. But I'm just having this here for size comparison, because this is a number 6. If you have a number 6, you know about how big that is. For comparison, here's a number 9. Somewhere in between. Great little knife, $13. I think it's worth it. This is going to be a Christmas present for one of my parents. I'll decide who later. But a good little keychain knife, little fork. Even if you don't use it for eating, I'm sure there's stuff you could use that fork for. Just great little stuff altogether. I think it's a good little knife to consider. So if you've got 13 bucks to spend on a knife, go check out MAM Knives in general and just take a look and see if they've got a hobo edition. If they do, consider getting one. I think it's a fun little gift. I think it'll be a fun little thing to keep around, and it's just unique. And I'm glad now to have a MAM knife to kind of compare with my Opinel, because like I said, they're both family made, family run, old time, you know, pre-1900s. There's history in these knives. Now this particular model I think is a newer version, but they have historical models that are very similar to the number 8. So with that said, I hope you found this video useful, informational. Hope it helps you build your EDC to your standards. And until the next time, farewell, carry well, and a bye-bye.